you get. So take every opportunities you get, and when you request to the LORs, try to have a good connection with the attending who is writing the LOR for you. And if you are doing these observerships before June, when you are not having your ERAS token with you, say them. I would remind you with an email after I get my ERAS token, so you can upload your LOR. And if you already have your ERAS token, share them your ERAS AAMC number so they can upload your letter directly. And don't expect all the attendings who promised you LORs would upload it at the right time. Some of them would just upload it very late, or some of them may not upload it. But don't lose your professional piece. Like, be very professional to them. They are really busy with their works and all. So requesting for LOS, you have to be super professional. You have to be very patient, waiting for their replies and all. So yeah, that's about US clinical experience. When you are trying to get USCE, try to get more hands-on rotations or electives or externships over observerships, because observerships, it's it has its disadvantage, because in LOR they will specifically mention like this person had an observership with me. And in US, actually, there is no, everyone knows an observer is not going to do many things here, so it's not a big thing to do an observership here. Whenever you get a chance, when you're applying, apply for externships or hands-on rotations. So that's my one cent on it. Do you have any doubts till this point?
Ma'am, we have an question and answer session at the last, so people would be collecting your doubts and asking you together.
Sure, thank you. So let's continue. Then when it comes to yeah, this was what I was mentioning about the USC. The amount of participation you puts into reflects completely in your LOR. The strong LORs really means a lot. During one of my interviews, an attending asked me like, I haven't seen any of my LORs. All my attendings uploaded it directly to the ERA, so I have no idea what they wrote in the LOR. So during one of my interviews, an attending asked me like, "Have you seen your LOS?" And I was like, "No, I haven't seen any of my LOS." And he told like, "You had like the rotation I did with the rheumatologist. She wrote about my interest in rheumatology, cardiology, and all those things, and she wrote a lot about me. And that was a super surprise for me too. I didn't knew what she wrote in her LOR. That was a hands-on training." So she mentioned in the letter it was a hands-on training. This person got to do many hands-on procedures with her. So that was a great advantage in my entire application. So yeah, when how can you secure observerships, or when to do it, or which is the right time to do it? There is no specific right time to do an observership or a rotation. You can do it whenever you want, but make sure you have someone to write an LOR for you. Okay. And of course, the US clinical experience, that really they really look for some behavioral etiquette. First of all, when you are reaching the hospital, you have to reach at least 30 minutes before the scheduled time. Don't wait. Like, if the rounds start at 9, you have to be there at minimum 7:30, so that you have to be you get some time with the residents. You get to know what are the patients in the hospital, so you have a clarity what's going to happen that day. And again, even I used to be in the hospital at the sign out time, so I get an idea what happens during the sign outs. So that's also something really good. And um, and always try to be professional when in your dressing. If they ask you to wear the scrubs, it's good. Otherwise, be in your professional dress. And if they ask for a white coat, have it. Otherwise, no need of that. So they actually look you throughout. Like, they just there is nothing they know about us. So we have to be a peripherally someone who looks very professional. And again, when it comes to research trajectory, when you have time, or when you are trying to when you are in US, try to do some research works in US, or at least be involved with some residents who are doing research. um, I got this. As I have mentioned, I worked in Mayo virtually with the team. Uh, but the team was really wonderful. They helped me to get an idea about what are the things a research really should have. And during the interview, I still remember, we may think the name of the institute is something very important. It's not like that. They don't care where you do the research, what, in which topic you did the research, or anything like that. During my interviews, I was regularly asked what was my role in that particular research. Like, there was a cardiology research, and the research was on cardiac deconditioning of patients and all. And the attending was like, no, we just want to know what you did in the research. So I was like, I did the data collection, extraction, and all those things, and all the things I did. And he was like, yeah, that's what I wanted. So every person who is interviewing you, or every program wants to know how much you contributed to a project. They are not gonna see if you are the first author, or if you are the person who brings the idea, or anything like that. They just want to see if you are a person whom they can really work with. So if we prove that, okay, I did all my work in the right time, so they gave me an opportunity to join their second project. So that really shows that we are doing something as a teamwork. So we have to show we are eligible to be part of a residency program, because we can do things as a part of a team. So, whatever researches you do, the main thing is make connections. Try to have good connections with the residents. Some residents really vouch for you. Try to have good connections with attendings, and try to get more other opportunities with the same team, and try to communicate more. At first time, it's really tough when we start communicating. There will be some issues with our language, and there, like, it won't. We will be sometimes a bit more fast. They may ask us to repeat the same thing and all. So yeah, it really depends, but we can adjust with all those things. And yeah, research opportunities are really that wonderful. When we, even if you don't get a direct research opportunity, you can ask for a virtual opportunity. Like, I can join the team virtually, I can sit from home, do remotely work for the team. So I guess that would be an opportunity you can show in your ERAS application too. I would come to ERAS application, how you can present your ERAS. So in that, we can show how you contributed to the research team. And then when it comes to ERAS strategy, like ERAS application, when you goes to the ERAS session, the ERAS have changed a lot. ERAS have updated a lot of its sessions. Um, First and foremost, we will have your personal informations. It's a section where you can include all your biographical data, your race, ethnicity, you require visa or not, and all those things. And the second session, it's about geographical preferences. People may think taking the no preference option is better. No, it's not like that. You really have to choose three different options, and you really should explain why you chose those areas. For example, yeah, I choose Mid Atlantic region, East Coast region, and something else, because I had this preference to Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia. So in my geographical signaling, what I wrote was, for me, Pennsylvania, my parents are settled in Pennsylvania, so I would like to have live close with my family. Some of my rotations were in Pennsylvania. So that really shows I have some attachment to that geographical area. So when programs see your application, they get to know, like, this person has some connections, whether it be family or friends, they have some connections with Mid Atlantic region. So geographical signaling to that area finds important. Then I chose West Virginia, and I told, like, I live here in West Virginia. I live here with my husband, and we have a lot of friends. I do my volunteering here. I do my researches here. So this area is very important for me. You need not specifically mention West Virginia. You can just say this region, the East Coast region is important for me because of so and so causes. Then this region was also one I signaled. So here for me, Ohio was the place where my husband do his residency. So I do most of my researches and other clinical rotations in this region. So we need not mention which state, but we can mention we have connections in that state. So never go for, there is an option, no preference, never go for that option. Choose specifically three geographical areas, because if you say you have no preference, that shows you have no one in any of this state, like you have no connections to any specific area. So that is something program directors don't want to see. They want to see you have some connections with any of these areas. So that this geographical signaling area seems like a very small part of your ERAS application, but it really matters. And you also have this option to select urban, suburban, rural areas. For that, you can choose no preference. You can write like, I like to train in any of the areas. That is fine. Or you can choose if you want urban or rural areas, you can choose like that. But for geographical signaling, make sure you signal any three specific areas. And if those areas are IMG friendly, that would be great. Some states are not actually IMG friendly, some states are really IMG friendly. So when you are going through the data, just keep a check on which states are IMG friendly and just make a note on that. And recently, one of the major changes that happened to ERAS was the scholarly work session. Earlier, it was like we can add all our scholarly works, all our papers, whether it is peer reviewed or not, and whether it is a blog, anything we can add in our ERAS section, and it may look very long. Like, even if you haven't done specifically to anything, or even if you are the eighth author in an eight eight people paper, we can add about that. But now it's more like, we have to mention what is an author, if we are the first author or not. And we also have to mention which year the paper is published and how significant it is. And if we have done a poster presentation, for example, you did a paper on a cardiac imaging, and you presented the paper to one AMA conference and another AHA conference and one ACP conference. So that really shows you really worked on this paper. You tried to present the same paper on three different conferences. In the old eras, we had no option to show it as the three conferences. We can only show the we did the presentation in one of the conferences. But now ERAS has this option to add whichever conferences you have presented the paper. So that's something really wonderful. So that really shows your commitment to the project. And I won't say to do like 30 or 40 papers. No, it's not like that. Even if it's one paper, if you have published it in a PubMed or a Scopus Index journal, that's really valuable. And you just have to know what the paper is about. If you write about 15 papers and you don't know about any of those papers, they would ask you about, for example, you did a paper on flaccid paralysis, and they ask you what was the case or what was the paper about, and you know nothing about the paper, then it's like of no use. They get to have a fraud feel about you. They may think you did nothing in the paper, you don't know even about the paper. So we should have a basic idea what these papers are about or what you have contributed to the paper. So yeah, this is how the ERAS updated scholarly work session look like. So try to publish papers. If you are aiming for internal medicine, an average of 5 to 7 papers would be really wonderful. If you are looking for family medicine, actually they don't want much publications. They only want one or two publications. That too, they really don't want. They just, family medicine doctors want you to be really passionate about family medicine. You should do some volunteering work. You should be you should be involved in community services and all. They are not too much focused about researchers. But if you are looking for pediatrics, you need like 4 to 5 papers in pediatrics. If you are looking for surgery or neurosurgery or competitive, more competitive specialties, you would need like nearly 20 to 30 papers, because it's super competitive and everyone would be having that level of competition in such specialties. So yeah, if you are looking for internal medicine or emergency medicine, 5 to 7 papers are well and good. and make sure you know about that. So this is one of the updates in ERAS. Then another one important thing is core length program selection. You know, when you go to ERAS session, when you search programs, there are like nearly 400 to 500 programs you can apply to only in internal medicine. So if you are dual applying to internal medicine and family medicine, there are nearly 800 plus programs. For the first 30 programs, you have every program you apply, you need a fees. You will have to pay a fees. It's like $30 for the first 30 programs, each of the first 30 programs, then $40 each for the remaining programs, something like that. So it's gonna be a lump of money. So be very cautious when you're applying for programs, especially when you say you are geographically specific to particular areas. This was what I did. I did a complete search on all the programs in my area, like which are the programs which I really want to join. So in June, July, and August, I was searching through the program session. Under each program, there is a link to Residency Explorer. You can directly go to the Residency Explorer section. There will be a complete data on the program, how the program chooses their residents. Like some programs will mention that they won't choose graduates who are having more than 3 years of graduation, like more than 3 years of year of graduation. Some programs would mention they would only take graduates who are having score more than 240. Some won't take people who are having attempts. So you have to sort out those programs. If you don't fall in that category, don't go for that. If you fall in that category, apply for that. And again, visa is another one issue. Some programs sponsor J1, some programs sponsor H1B, some programs don't sponsor visa. So if you are looking for it, most of the programs now don't sponsor H1B. They do at the most J1. I guess the H1B restrictions are gonna change. So next year there will be some changes, I guess. Otherwise, you can just screen through all those programs if they are looking for aspirants who are IMGs. And of course, you should see one more thing. Sorry, there will be a graph showing how their previous residents are. Some of them may show like 100% US grads, US MDs and US DOs, and 5 to 10% IMGs. Don't apply for such programs, they are not gonna call IMGs. Some programs will show they will have 70% of IMGs, so such programs are super IMG friendly. So in such cases, you can apply for those programs. So yeah, when you are choosing programs, choose them very wisely. Don't choose all the programs because it is gonna cost you a lot of money. One of my juniors, he applied for 250 programs and he got only 2 interviews and he didn't match last year. And later when we were discussing about what happened, he told he applied to all the programs he saw IMG friendly. It don't work like that. It is more about some programs only call people whom they have connections with. Some programs, I would say an example, um, we have signals. We have 3 golden signals and 12 silver signals. I knew I was going through all the program pages, and I used my 3 golden signals: one for Jefferson, one for Jewish Cincinnati, and one for WVU. I don't know if we could say it publicly, but yeah, I did it like this. Then I knew already Jefferson only calls for applicants who have score more than 250 and no 260, and they only call graduates who are US grads, mostly US grads. But I signaled it gold because I thought I had 3 LORs from them, so they would of course call me. That was a misconception. They would never go beyond their filters. They have these specific filters. They would just filter us out if you are an IMG or if you are having graduation year more than 2 years or anything like that. That was one mistake I made. I lost one of my gold. Even after I knowing the program's condition, I shouldn't have wasted my gold signal. Then another one gold signal was in Jewish Cincinnati. I found that it's a very IMG friendly program. It has this in-house fellowships and all. So I gold signaled that, and I later I realized I don't have any connections there. I don't know anyone there. I haven't done any rotations there. I haven't done any researches with them. Then why I choose that to be a goal signal? I don't know. I lost it too. I sent them two letters of interest to the program director and coordinator, but they didn't respond to. And I was really sad. Like I lost my goal signal. um, Now it may sound silly, but goal signals are something like a gold thing for you. Like goal signals are something very valuable thing when it comes to ERAS. Use it very wisely. Signals are super important. More than you apply for a program, the program really looks if you signaled the program. My third signal was West Virginia University. Third goal signal was West Virginia University, and that was my topmost priority too. It's like 5 minutes from my house. It's a university program, so that was the only goal signal which I used wisely. Both the other signals went to waste, but all the 12 silver signals which I applied was almost right because I got interviews from almost 11 of them. And for family medicine, you have five signals, and you can there is no gold or silver, it's just five signals. So you can use it at places where you think IMGs match or they don't have this score limits or anything like that. Family medicine, I think some of them has the score limit of 220. Otherwise, they don't say about any cutoff limits or anything like that. So when you use your signals, use it very wisely. When you apply to programs, don't waste your money on all these programs. Just apply to programs where you think you are gonna match or where you're sure you will go to those places. I only applied to Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia. I didn't apply to New York because for me, New York was a bit away from my home, and also, though most of the programs in New York are IMG friendly, cost of living in New York is a bit high. So different people have different preferences. So if you would love to be in a urban area, to have a different diverse group of patients and all, you can of course go to those places. So yeah, when you're choosing your signals and programs, be very careful. It's gonna save you a lot of money. Like if you apply for 100 programs, it is somewhere around $2,000. If you're applying for 200 programs, it is somewhere around $5,600. So it's more than double. So don't apply all the programs widely. Apply very meticulously. Like you should be very mindful when you're applying to programs. Don't choose programs which are completely for US grads. Uh, I have seen my husband applying in his match year before a few years. He was a US grad, so he can apply. This US grads, they only apply to 20 to 30 programs. They know where they are gonna match. Wherever they apply, they know like they only apply to university programs. They don't go for new programs. They don't go for community programs. US grads has a lot of added advantage. So don't apply for programs which are completely for US grads. Have if they have some IMGs, that shows they take IMGs. Okay. Then comes, yeah, that's about the score aligned programs. Then comes personal statement and ERAS editing. When you start the ERAS application season, I used to think this personal statement is a one page story. So, who is going to read all these stories? Who has time to read all these things? No, it's not like that. They really read all your personal statement, they read your CV very thoroughly. In ERAS CV, you have 10 sections to add your experiences. Of the 10 sections, 3 of them will be meaningful experiences. So, and you have this personal statement where you write why you choose medicine and why you choose your specialty. Don't make it too dramatic. Don't make it like a cringe, like sort of thing. Make it very direct. Make it very comprehensive. It should have a very proper structure. I have seen attendings my husband usually takes people like do interviews. So the very like the day before take interviews for the new people, he sits and read all the personal statement. He goes through the entire personal statement, entire ERAS application. So they know about us from our personal statement. So make it very direct. Don't make it too dramatic. My personal statement, as I have said, I edited it like nearly 40 times. First time I made it, it was like a novel. And the people who read it was like, are you writing for some serial, Indian serial or something like that? Because I wrote from the time I was born and till now, everything I was like, I'm so passionate about medicine. Internal medicine is like my breath and all. And everyone who read it was like, no, this is not like this. You have to change it. So when we write our personal statement, show our statement us people who are doing residency here, attendings here, or those who did their medical school here, so they have a better clarity of what we should include in our personal statement. For example, last math cycle, some of the people who went into SOP send their personal statements to me so I can edit it for them and they can apply for the SOP. Some of the statement I saw was one statement, it said the person took medicine because his grandmother wanted him to take medicine. See, don't make it like a drama because US people, the attendings here, they know we won't even take a glass of milk if your grandmother says you to take. So we are not going to take a profession because your grandmother said you to take. You should have an inborn interest in taking a career path for you. So you should show your own interest in your field of medicine. And when you say you love internal medicine, don't just blankly say I love internal medicine. You should have you should have a path to come to your interest. Like, for example, I saw some patients during my house agency or internship, and that patient was really revoking. Like, the experience with the patient taught me a different level of interest in medicine. So I started working in internal medicine more. I started interacting with internists and hospitalists, so I gained this interest in internal medicine. So you should have a in like to show a growth of your interest, and at the same time there should be a line focusing towards your future career. Like, if you're interested in cards, you should say, I would like to direct my future as a cardiologist. I would like to learn more about ECGs and echoes. And your personal statement should really reflect what you really want in your like career path. So it's like a trajectory of all the things you have gone through, like your why you choose medicine, why you want internal medicine, and what you are aiming in internal medicine, and why you moved from India to US, why you left India. So it should answer many questions. So make sure you put a lot of effort in your ERAS CV and your personal statement. In ERAS CV, don't write all the experiences you found interesting. Write experiences which are interesting in terms of medicine. Like, if you have a volunteering work and you have been selected as volunteer of the month in a particular volunteering work, that's a meaningful experience. And don't write, I have seen one of my friends CV, he mentioned all the three or four volunteering works, like one day volunteering at a place, and he mentioned that 2 days volunteering at a different place, and mentioned it's not like that. You can make this volunteering as a single section and say, like, I volunteered at these many places and I had this experience. It's not about what uh, like where you did and how much you did. They are looking for what you perceived from that experience. And when you're mentioning about your research, you need not say like, you I published this research there, I presented this research here. No, no. You just can say, I learned these many things from this research. I learned to be a part of a team. I learned data extraction. I learned to make organized things. I learned to be how to communicate within a team. So this is what they are expecting. They want to see what you learned from this particular experience and what how this experience can contribute to your residency. And when it comes to the three main meaningful experiences, you really have to uh, choose them according to preferences. Like, if you have done two hands-on training and one observership, of course don't make this observership a meaningful experience. Makes the hands-on training a meaningful experience, because they know, like, observership, as I have mentioned, observer is not going to do any wonder there, but a hands-on training is going to do many things there. So So make it accordingly. Like your meaningful experiences should really be meaningful. Your personal statement, really invest time in personal statement and really ask someone to edit a personal, not edit someone for their opinions about your personal statement. Some ask people to give brutal opinions about your personal statement, and submit your personal statement only after you feel okay, now this is complete. Don't make it too long, just make it one page. No one is gonna read more than that. That one page should be concise, strong, and that page should say everything about you. uh, I had an interview where one of the attending asked me about the minutest details from my personal statement. I mentioned about a patient with adrenal crisis in my personal statement, and even I forgot about that patient. But the attending asked me about, so you had this patient of with adrenal crisis, and what you learned from that patient. So he is not going to ask me anything about adrenal crisis. He is going to ask me about what I learned from that patient experience. So your personal statement is really important. Really invest your time in that. It is as equivalent important to your scores. People are really going to read that. Don't take it silly. Last For the last soap match, I was editing like nearly 7 to 8 personal statements and nearly 10 ERAS CVs. And most of the personal statement, it was like they got a dream, they wanted to be in medicine, or someone in their close relative was in hospital, so their last wish was you to be a doctor. No, no, it's not like that. You should have an inborn interest, or like you should have something revoking you to take medicine. I heard from one of the residents I worked, he didn't like medicine. His father pushed him into medicine, and he got into one of the medical schools with his father's money. And he very brutally mentioned it in his personal statement. I took medicine because of my family's interest. I didn't wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to be an engineer. But then he mentions how he started loving medicine. Once he is into medical school, he started seeing patients, and he how he started developing interest in different fields, how he was so bad in reading ECGs, and one day how he started finding the needs to read an ECG. So such personal statements, when you are brutally honest but at the same time you are conveying what you want to say, such personal statements are really valued. Then comes, yeah, the final mile. It's about the interviews. When it is about the interviews, you can choose virtual interviews and in-person interviews. It's your choice. Sometimes it's a hybrid. Programs provide a hybrid option. You can choose between in-person and virtual. I usually take in-person opportunities because most of the programs were like nearly 1 hour distance for me. So I like to see those places. I used to take the interview days like a trip. So yeah, if you like to be you like to see the hospital in person, you can choose in person. It really helps you to have an idea of the hospital. Like one of the hospitals, I when I went through the Google, the images were really good and all, but when I went in person, the hospital was really small. It was only 80 bedded. It they didn't they were not as big as I thought. Not big, they were not the same. I got an image from the Google. So if you go in person, you will have a great clarity of what's happening in that place. And yeah, then another one important thing is letter of interest. There are two things actually: letter of interest and letter of intent. Letter of interest is basically people. I have read in Reddit, yeah, I have read in Reddit and Instagram people saying letter of interest is of no use, but it's not like that. I got many interviews with letters of interest. You can, but make sure you make your letter of interest interesting. You have to show why you like the program. I got one of my interviews from a program. You may have heard about Our Health. I didn't signal the program, but I sent them a letter of interest, and they gave me an interview. And when they interviewed me, they asked me, "You didn't signal to the program. Why you didn't signal the program?" Then I was like, "I only had limited number of signals, but I wanted to train in such a program where I could really come out as the best." So I was trying to show my interest through the letter of interest. When you the perfect time to write the letter of interest is October to December. Don't bombard them with emails. Just send one letter of interest. And if you are not getting any reply at all, send a second email to the program coordinator. So if they have any intention to call you, they would call you. Otherwise, they won't. But of course, you are going to get many interviews with your letters of interest. You can send this LOIs not just to um, the signal programs, you can send to all the programs you want. I sent to all the 90 programs I applied. I was like, I spent money, so I can send letter of interest to all the programs. And I got an email from one of the program directors in November. I sent him a letter of interest with my CV and personal statement attached. I sent all these emails with attachments with my CV and personal statement. And this program director asked me, like, are you really interested in our program? And I was like, yes, sir. I'm really interested. And he told I will get an interview within 2 hours. And within 2 hours, he sent me an interview invitation. So letters of interest really works. Don't think it's not gonna work. It really works. And letter of intent is a different thing. Letter of intent is after you rank the programs, you send the program which you ranked number one an email saying, I have already ranked you one. Like for me, it was WVU. So I sent WVU in mid January. I have completed all my interviews. So among all my interviews, I really like this program because it's close to my home. You have in-house fellowships, and I really love this program. So that letter is known as letter of intent. It is completely different from letter of interest. You can send your letter of interest to all the programs, but send your letter of intent to only one program, that to your top priority program. Then step three, we have talked about that, the day one and two. Then about the interview, when you are preparing for interview, be very mindful. They will ask you questions about, you should really know well about the program. One of the questions will of course be, why do you choose our program? And we should have an answer why we choose their program. Before attending every interview, have a good research about the program background. Check about if the program has any fellowships available, if the program has how many research opportunities, how the residents are. So you can say like, I loved the previous research done by the group. And you should be really thorough about the program and the geography. And they will ask you about, like most common question is, tell me about yourself. And the next question would be, why you choose our program. And they may sometimes ask you something interesting, like one of the family medicine programs, this family medicine program directors, they are super brilliant. They know we are keeping them as a secondary choice. So one of the attendings asked me, your CV obviously shows a lot of researchers in cardio, then why do you want family medicine? So of course you are obviously keeping it as a secondary choice. And I was like, I didn't expected this question, but I was answering him like, no, I loved to be learning more about ECGs. I was very weak in ECGs, so I was learning using all those opportunities I get to learn EKGs. So when I comes to primary care, I can see patients with their ECGs and all. So I was, and this doctor, he was laughing and he told me, he's very old doctor, and he was telling me, you know something, I am an internal medicine doctor. I worked like 50 years in internal medicine and I choose family medicine later. It's fine. You keep, you dual apply. But when you know something, we go through your application and we see researchers, we know you guys are going to internal medicine. And I was like, oh no, I should have thought about this. So you should think about when it's a family medicine interview, don't think they are gonna take your interview silly. They are super brilliant. They know if you are dual applying or not. So not because they know your application or anything, because they see your application and personal statement. And when making personal statement, make it specifically for internal medicine, make it specifically for family medicine. And if you have any program references, make it specifically for the program. My personal statement was specific for WVU. Like I, it looks like I am born to train there. Every program should feel like you are born to train there. So yeah, that's some silly ways to show them your interest. So yeah, do you have any questions? please feel free to ask the questions. So yeah.
We can transition to question answer session. Like, if ma'am, you have any more, otherwise we can directly go to question answer.
Yeah, I am done with the presentation. It will be too long if I talk more. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
So, first of all, thank you for your insightful guidance. It was really interesting to listen all this in a storytelling format. And I can tell all the golden and silver points are present, which we were catching them, and very personal experience you shared. And also, we have so much social media and everything which talks only over the superficial parts, but you gave such insight from your emotional experience, your personal experience with residents. So we'll go to question answer sessions, and I have few questions. So Dr. Ashwati, I would like to begin with few questions, such as the first question being, what are the biggest changes applicants should know about Match 2027, like the highlight changes for this year?
Uh, First of all, the one of the major changes is a scholarly work session. Like you have to write your yeah, as I have mentioned, you have to write your publication in a very organized way. Earlier, it was not a matter if you were a first author or not, but now it's a matter like if you are a first author, if you're a, it has an added advantage. And another one important change was the geographical signaling. Geography, like in the previous cycles, it was not an important, very important thing like you choose your geographical area, but now it's very important like you choose your geographical preference very importantly. And there is a section called license and certifications. Previously people didn't care that much, but now if you have your ACLS, BLS, or any other certifications, you can add into that. And there is a misconception that we always need this ACLS, BLS before the application. No, you need not have it always. The programs provide you with such certifications for free in your orientation week. But having some other certifications, like I used to have a Stanford certification in rheumatic heart disease, some online certifications, some online platforms which give certifications when doing after doing researches. So you can add all those certifications and licenses. Then another one thing is uploading your MSP and USMLE transcripts to the ERAS session. You have to request your medical school beforehand for that. Then uh, yeah, these are the major changes. The most important change is in the scholarly work session. We have to include papers which really matters or which are really important.
Thank you for the response. The next question being, what are the most common mistakes? You have already mentioned few of them, but like the main mistakes students make during their residency application process.
I think one of the mistakes is applying for ECFMJ certification late. Because as I have mentioned, we have some delays with our getting our good standing. So apply your ECFMJ certification early. Then two major mistakes people make is with their personal statement and CV edits. Last year I saw many CVs which were too blank. Like there were one line descriptions of the like the experiences you did. It's not like that. You really have to work on your CV and personal statement. And people consider personal statement is something no one is gonna read, but it's really very much important. People are gonna read it. So people get interviews, and some people match because of their personal statement. I have heard one of my seniors saying like she got interviews because of a personal statement. So personal statements really matters. Last soap, many people who didn't get interview in their main match after like oh I put a Reddit post like those who want CV and personal statement edits, I will just do it for free. I'm free for the next few days. And I got people in my DM sending their personal statements, and I was editing for them. And most of them got 4 to 5 interviews after their personal statement and CV edits. So I think having a strong PS and CV really helps to gain you more interviews, because otherwise people may think you are a blank applicant, you don't know anything about this, you have not done it. You may have done wonders, but you may not express it in the best way. So I think express the best things in your CV and personal statement.
Okay, so that's very insightful to know about a CV and interview. So, as you mentioned about so many extracurricular and which we put in the ERAS application, many students have very low USMD scores. So, how do they compensate? Like, can you mention objectively they compensate in the application through other paths?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. Like, uh, having a wonderful score is not gonna sorry, not gonna guarantee you an interview. Those who are having step attempts, those who are having scores in 220s, if they are presenting their ERA CV, and if they are having a pretty good number of publications, if they are doing good US clinical experiences and trying to make connections, you are gonna get more interviews. And I didn't had any connection in WVU. I didn't knew anyone there. But I like from June I was emailing their program coordinator, do you have any observership opportunity? And they were like, they don't have anything open now, but they have an audition rotation happening in November. So I was continuously like once in every month I emailed the program coordinator, like, have you started opening this audition rotation? And they were like, yeah, we are opening it. And I did a 2 week rotation in November. And my interview was during this rotation. So almost all the people who interviewed me were the same people whom I was rotating with. So if you have any audition rotations, take it. If you have any US clinical experiences and have an option to gain connection with the residents, take it. If you have opportunities to do researches, if you are planning to do book authoring or publishing in any PubMed or the journals, do it. And another one important thing is doing attending conferences in US. In a US conference, you will get to see many attendings. You will have opportunity to make connections. You'll have chances to see residents. So that's one important opportunity where you can have connections with people. So even if your scores are limited, or if you have this score bound, scores are not something we always like. We may plan for 260s and may end up in 220s, and it's not a big deal. Don't worry about that. Choose your specialty wisely. Like, if you are in your 260s and you're applying for surgery, uh, there is something we call, like, there are chances. But with 220s, surgery won't be a best option. You can apply for pediatrics, family medicine, internal medicine, emergency medicine, and all those things. So choose your specialty based on your scores, and do more researches, make your CV strong. And uh, yeah, all those things, not just the scores. They are not gonna, as I have mentioned, they only use the scores as a filter. Otherwise, they are not gonna rank you based on your scores.
That was interesting to know about how, this code navigation is always a difficult journey. But as you mentioned, it's the story which you present. So we have many students who might just be beginning with USMD pathway. So what will be your specific advice for them, like which might be eye-opening for them?
I think if you are in your medical school, take your step one during your medical school. That was a mistake from my I had, because I started my USMLE journey. I had no idea I was going to USMLE. I started my journey after my medical school, so I lost, like, I had to take time and sit and prepare for step one. But if you are in your medical school, you can start preparing for your step exams very early and take your step two once you're out of medical school. So you have, like, you can apply very soon. You won't lose any year of graduation. You can you yeah, like, year of graduation is like a double-edged sword. Like, if you are less than 3 years of year of graduation, you have a lot of advantages. So try to apply within that time. Otherwise, like, if you are already a postgraduate in India, still you have to go through the entire USMLE process. You don't have any advantages of, like, there is no direct pathway to a attending job. You still have to go through the residency. So if you are choosing your pathway, choose it very early, I would say. So that was a mistake I really made. I would say all my juniors to take it during the medical school itself. And doing researches, of course, during medical school, try to involve in many researchers, try to be part of more research teams and all.
So, as we already have medjections as a platform which provide you so much opportunity, you mentioned about geographical signaling. So,
Yeah.
some people might have very low step scores or year of graduation issues. So, is it advisable that they give a geographical preference, or will it reduce interview chance?
Not exactly. For example, if you signal mid-Atlantic region, and you have many states there, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and all those things comes under there, and you signal programs like signal geographically only the places where you have signaled the programs, or if you have any connections with the family, choose those signals. And during interviews, they would ask you a question, why our program? And during that, you can say, I chose your program because my family is staying nearby. Like after saying all the things about the program, as the last session, you can say, my family lives nearby, so I have family connections. I can go to my family along with doing my residency. That really shows that you have someone to support you during your residency. So this geographical signaling is a way for the program directors to know that this person is gonna come here, because everyone always chooses to stay close to their family. No one is gonna go to California leaving behind their family here. So when you choose a place, make sure you have someone or some connections there. So that's something really important.
So this was one of the participants' question. We'll take one to two questions from participants. If anyone would like to raise their hand or send their question on the chat box. Uh, do we have any volunteers? I see few questions in the chat box. Uh, I think we do not have any volunteers, so I'll take few questions. Okay, so how much percentage it is important to choose when it comes to IMG friendliness? Like, what is the objective value which you should focus on?
See if it like there will be a graph in your residency explorer that shows the program takes 30% USMDs, 30% USDOs, then a 40% IMGs. Even if they are taking more than 10%, that's fine and good. You cannot always see a program that take 50 to 60 percentage of IMGs. You can choose programs if you go through the program website and just see if they have IMGs, Asian grads, or if they have people from different countries, that really shows they accept diversity in their residents. So you can just go through their residency explorer, and if it has any number of, I was applying to all the programs with any number of IMGs. Like zero IMGs, don't apply for that. If they have at least 5% of or above IMGs, apply for that. At least they take someone. So better than not taking anyone, they are taking someone. And also make sure they are not a program only taking people who rotated there are some programs which only take people who did their rotations there. Don't go for such programs if you have not rotated there. Go for programs which many some IMG programs are super malignant. So just go through the program website. If you are okay to be trained in such places, apply such places. No such issues. Sometimes you may hear a program is malignant, but no program in the US is gonna be as malignant as your own internship in India. Like I did my internship in India, it is comparatively really tough than any malignant programs here. So it really depends. If you really want work-life balance, go to places which provide which are not malignant at all. So it's like that. Once you go to your residency explorer, you'll have a great idea what the graph looks like.
So you mentioned about visa rejection. So how to avoid such situations while applying, and also what do you mean by malignant programs?
Uh, First of all, malignant programs, I haven't applied to any malignant programs. I haven't been to any malignant programs too. But from what I have heard from my seniors, is some programs don't have this number of hour restrictions. Like there is an ACGME guideline that we should only work for a maximum of 40 hours per week or something like that. But some programs, when they have attending shortage, the residents will have to take continuous nights, 24-hour calls, and all those things. And of course, salary won't be affected. You'll have really good salary, but the work-life schedule will be really tough. So such programs are called malignant. And when it comes to visa, um, I my visa was a very different processing. I had I-130. I'm a citizen here, but those who are applying for visas like my J1 and H1B, J1 is more about you should really show a letter from the program. When once you are into the residency program will take care of everything about your visa. My program, uh, they have each resident is have a coordinator who is taking care of the visa, their J1, and I think last year there used to be H1B. This year, due to the recent restrictions, there is no much H1B visas. But J1 is actually pretty good. If you have after work, there is some restriction, like after you are if you are on J1, after residency you have to do 2 years home country work or something like that. But now programs are providing you direct work in rural areas and all, so you don't want to go back to your country. I recently heard one in my program, they are doing this after residency, they offer you positions in WVU itself. There are many programs who do most of the programs do it like that way. So if you are choosing that, they will extend all the visa and all those things. And there are residents who get into green card after 2 years of rural service and all. So it really depends upon the program. I'm not sure about the entire visa processing, but this is how it works. B1, B2, it's about a visiting visa, and you have to show your observership agreement and all. Yeah, it depends upon the type of visa and the country you are coming from. India, I don't think it's a big deal from India, but other countries who are who are in the ban list, they are going to be an issue.
So most of the questions, as I see in the chat box, has been covered in the session given by you, ma'am. And it was very wonderful to have you here and your valuable experience, your practical advice into the match process. And your guidance will undoubtedly help many students in making effective decisions in 2027 math cycle. I would also like to thank my participants who were so present in the session, and I hope it was quite insightful for them. And as we know, learning is a continuous journey, and today's webinar was one step closer to your goals. So before we leave, we would like to have you fill a feedback form and help us improve our future events, which will help in providing high quality educational programs. And we have very many opportunities at Medjections. As you can say, as Shruti ma'am mentioned, you have to have a story. So you need to be part of abstract, you need to be part of publications, you need to be part of various mentorship programs for your step scores, your residency application. So stay connected with Medjections through our WhatsApp community. I'm one of those, proud members of Medjections and had wonderful opportunities to be part of presentations at various conferences related to American universities and organizations. We also have our Instagram channel where we come up with opportunities often. And thank you everyone for joining. And we hope you have a wonderful day. And also, ma'am, thank you for being with us the whole time. And we hope it was a lovely experience for you to join with us and our organization. And participants, you have covered most of your queries, and I feel you would have noted down like whatever you got to know.
I think I have answered some of the questions, but in here in the chat, Dr. Bharati, he have asked some questions. I don't know if I have answered all those things. I would share my email ID in the chat. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email, or if you can directly email to Medjections to. I could answer those questions. I'm sorry if I have missed any of. I just went to the chat now. I saw so many questions here. I'm sorry if I missed any. How to tackle low step 2 scores and no rotations due to B1, B2 rejections. You can do virtual rotations, tele rotations, and you can apply for repeat B1, B2 visa with a more stronger observership documentation. And again, your low step to score 227 is not a too low score. You can build upon your score. Like you can do more researches, you can try getting more connections, you can do more USC. um, there are many things you can build over to get over the law scores. One of my best friend, she had 227 and she matched into internal medicine program at a university program in Pennsylvania. So it's not, don't consider it as a big barrier, don't worry about that. Another one question I just saw, like there are, I don't know if I missed many of the questions. I'm so
No,
sorry about that.
we tried to get the questions answered through common questions. We had those,
Okay,
and we also picked up few questions.
okay, got it. If I missed anything, I'm so sorry. I just saw the chat now. I would share my email ID here, and if you have any questions, please feel to ask email, text to email sections. So I would directly.
Yes, ma'am. We'll be medium for the students.
Sure, thank you so much. It was wonderful meeting all of you, and of course, thank you, Dr. Nadeem. It was wonderful talking to you. You're a wonderful person, actually. And hope you all have a nice day. And if I missed any questions, I'm so sorry. I just saw the chat now. I'm sorry.
No, ma'am, it's totally okay. It was wonderful having you.
Thank you. Have a great day. And I wish all of you best of luck for your upcoming math cycles.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. So we'll be closing the meeting, and you already have our communication mediums. Thank you, everybody.